I talked about the idea of using the brain, listening to the heart, and living with the mission. So I want to spend a little time about how to use the brain instead of being used by the brain. Assuming that we got stuck somewhere, cannot go anywhere by using your mind. Use that as an example. Let's figure out how we may be able to use the brain, which is already a difficult thing to do if you get stuck. But at least I can think of few ideas. One is to talk with someone else. You know, each person's view is limited, so if you talk with someone else, their view can help you possibly. So I call it triangulating. You know, if they have a different opinion, different viewpoint, it's much better because it's almost like looking at the picture from three-dimensional point of view. You know, if you're looking at direction of A, this person look from different direction of B, so that if we can connect and find some common ground or the shady part may be seen from his point of view so that you can understand the picture better. So the triangulation would help position where you are, what may be missing still, or what could be the potential area that it may be narrowed down, whatever the case is. So that's part of the synthesizing idea, triangulating, and synthesizing may be similar, but synthesizing may connect to deeper part of your resources, the database, which you have. So instead of other person's view, you dig into your depth because you are getting stuck. One way to go is that deeper part of your brain. Using deeper part of the brain may be considered as synthesizing. And if you look at the creative process, usually what happens is that you combine two different elements together to make sense out of it. If you are connecting A to A, you don't go anywhere, but you stay with A. But if you have connecting with A and B, you may come up with the idea called C to satisfy the position of A and position of B by coming up with a C as the new hypothesis. And if you're successful, that would be an answer, the insight. So the consciousness and unconsciousness, you can combine those two. That's one idea. And if you go deeper into it, you just figure out as if you are sleeping, and the unconscious part of the brain maybe the neuron may be firing so that they would come up with some kind of dream, which is like a new scenario or hypothesis or story, which may link to the solution that you're looking for. And if you go beyond that, out of the box thinking is one other way to say the same thing. Instead of looking whatever inside of the shallow, you go deeper into the brain, outside of the box, and further deeper into your root of your being or source of where you are. And when you get there, it's kind of like a no box because you're talking about beyond the constraint of the mind or the structure of the mind, almost like listening to the heart. So how do we do that? One way is like a meditation. Don't think. Just focus on breathing or inner body sensation, detecting that, and see if there's any blockage. You focus on whatever is happening, maybe possibly listening to outside, or I talk about melting into nature in the state of being. So when we are doing it, outside the box may mean have your mind empty. So do nothing. That's the connection to the Wu-wei and the Tao Te Ching talk about it. Maybe Confucius would talk about it. But it's a foreign concept because the Western civilization is more focused on how to use the brain. But the Eastern, and things are changing nowadays, that the Eastern is becoming more Western, but still depth of the Eastern part. And you can say that because of the not using the brain. They are behind in terms of the technology, but of course they are catching up. But rooted from the connection to the source of your being, as much as you found in the case of the Japan, to learn from Deming and Duran, come up with a quality concept, any of that can help promote the unknown potential that they didn't expose themselves much in the past. And I see that China is moving in the direction with the huge number of population, and if they can combine effectively and efficiently to what they have learned from the Wu-wei, the Taoism and the Confucian and the Buddhism, and then connect it to the Western side of the how to use the brain, effectively not being used, then there's a potential power that I think may come. So when you get stuck, the point is that you get simpler, and to the point of the simplest, which is like opening up to the Wu-wei, no action from the mind. Then what you get is the law of nature just taking place. You immerse yourself, reaching out to the core of our being, where the creative source is showing its power of creation. Out of the dust of the universe, we are born, as much as the bird and trees and the vegetables and all the rest. So that's the source of creativity you may be able to reach if you are open to that. So using the brain, how to do it, and we get to the point of not using the brain, or if you run out of the way to use the brain, you reach out to the bottom of where you are, where the creative source of the universe is taking place to make us alive. That's the source of the creativity, and that's what I believe this whole discussion about habitual change, use the brain, listen to your mind, listen to your heart, and live with your mission, all that is to explore those potentials and to make sense out of it.